set my heart afire.
Okay, so we are live. My co-casters are going to be unmuted now. I've unmuted them before Richard loses his mind over things that he just is going wild already. So we are live here. We need to do a bit of a sound check as well. We need to just make sure that everybody's volumes are okay. My name is G-Max, and I will be broadcasting tonight's Dominus Gaming ACC GT3 Season 1 Round 3 here at Silverstone. And I'll be joined by, I think this is a little bit peaky. There we go. I'll be joined by my co-casters, Mr. Steady Eddie and I do this every time, Angela Steady.
What's up?
Hello.
I always introduce Eddie twice. He just wants to be famous twice, so it just seems adequate to do so.
If it's worth introducing twice, I say go for it.
Well, I mean, that's just what you want to do, right? So we've got two minis left until we go to our qualifying session. I just need to make sure, Eddie, will you just communicate that with our drivers in the in-game chat that we'll be going over to quali in 2 minutes, and then obviously forward the session. So just to introduce everybody that is new here, we are obviously restreaming over on YouTube as well as Twitch. I don't have both channel chats open. I don't know why my YouTube one doesn't connect properly, but my Twitch one seems to work just okay. We are about to go over to the quali session now. Eddie's just sorting some stuff and things out on his end. We do have a live view of our cars. We'll have audio to them soon as well. Let me just bring in some audio. You guys can let us know. We'll have some maybe, can we turn down the sound of the rain? Options, audio. Let's just see if we can turn down the sound of the rain a little bit. That's ambiance. Okay, let's just drop that down a little bit so it doesn't pitter-patter the entire time that we watch it. We'll put that back up. Okay, we should be back to how we want to be. Okay, so we are live over now for the practice session. We'll be going over to quali in just a second. Currently just having a little view at Anavesahi. Let's pull up the normal timetables and overlays. There we go. So Anavesahi currently dominating in these really weird kind of conditions at Silverstone. It's not quite pouring with rain. It's like a light drizzle. The track the track needs to kind of get itself a little bit more wet for wet tires to be effective, and it kind of isn't dry enough for dry tires to be brought out. So it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit difficult.
Start seeing some puddles forming slowly but surely.
Well, that's what the drivers will want. I mean, for their tires especially.
Where do you think you would want the track wetter?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would, because at this point, if you're cooking up those wet tires, they're really kind of looking to get wet and give you grip, and they're not going to be as effective. As I switch over to Bruno Cadhill, number 88.
Can I skip to quali, boss?
You can skip to quali. Okay, so we're heading over to our qualifying session now. 15 minutes of quali, and this is where times will really count. It's going to be a busy pit exit, I'm sure, as everybody wants to get themselves out on track.
Who do we have coming out first, though?
Who's in front of Minar? That will be our number
I think
one
it's
driver. Cadhill. How do you say that, man?
Cadhill. As far as I know, it's Cadhill. I could mess it up from time to time as well.
Yeah, I'm being very confused. Sean Lawrence is not the first guy out on track. JP Britton might be the first.
It is JP Britton. He is the first. Followed closely by the two behind him, Lawrence and Cadhill.
So, first work race for the season. Should be exciting.
Eddie, I'm just going to turn your volume up a little bit on this side. You're quite soft for me, so I just want to boost you up a little bit. It's
going to be very interesting.
Don't make weird sounds when I'm trying to change your volume. I mean, it makes it difficult to set you up. It's okay. I forgive you. If you do it again, you're kicked. but we forgive you. Okay, so Silverstone in the dry, a difficult track to navigate, especially with a full grid of cars. I think in the wet it's going to be ultra tricky. There are a couple of guys that can't make it through to the racing today, which is a little bit unfortunate. But you know, life comes in the way of sim racing sometimes, and we can understand that. So everybody getting themselves out on track bar a couple. We've still got Victor sitting in the pits. He's going to be leaving shortly. Yes, Victor de Kock leaving now. He hasn't actually managed to join us. So this will be his first race of the season, and what a race to get thrown into. A real tricky one to navigate for him. Who else is still out in the pits? It will be Mr. Franco Albertine. So he's just waiting for everybody to get out, form themselves up a bit of a dry line, maybe capitalize on that. You know, kind of use everybody as his snow plow. But
We have another
rain.
new driver with us tonight as well, Vanna Hubert.
We do indeed. So Van Hubert joining us for his first race of the season, and
Also-
driving out in the Mercedes-AMG. So I don't have a pop-up overlay for Vanna, so unfortunately I was not aware that he was racing this evening. So Vanna, when you send us an overlay, we'll...
Vanna is
JP Britain
he's
struggling
been in
hugely
the-
in these wet conditions.
Vanna has been part of the sim racing community for years now. So I expect good things from him. He spends most of his day behind a sim racing wheel.
Yeah, I fully agree. I'm expecting only the best. We know he builds solid, good simulator setups as well. So I think from his end, he has no excuses not to perform, other than the fact that the conditions at Silverstone here are just not friendly to anybody. Yeah, 100%. They're going to be a little bit horrid. So let's get a little look at the timetable as things stand at the moment, and nobody managing to set any kind of a qualifying lap whatsoever just yet. And I think this is indicative of just how tough the conditions are. It's not pouring with rain, and I think at this point it's all about trying to manage tires and try and see where you can get them up to temperature, see what tire compound you're going to have to try and run. It's not going to be easy at all, and I think the rain gods either need to make it pour with rain, or we need a little bit of sunshine, because these conditions are going to make things ultra tough for the drivers today. And I mean, when I say these rain conditions are variable, we had times that the conditions were so bad that you couldn't even see your front bonnet from the dash cam view. So the variability, it can pour with rain, we can get a little light shower, practice and quali on the same day, the race is on a different day, things could change up for the race. It is just going to be absolutely crazy. So guys are going to start to set lap times eventually, and it could just be such a mixture on the grid. Guys are just trying to throw tires on for this short quali session. I'm sure they're thinking about the race session that's ahead of them. It is not going to be easy trying to race in these conditions.
And
Already.
for me, my main issue, apart from the rain with Silverstone itself, is the track. It's built on an old what do you call it?
World War
airstrip.
II airfield. Yeah, it's
It
an
is
old bomber
flat
airfield.
as a pancake, and which from the driver's point of view makes it almost featureless. You kind of to try and remember where you are on the track, what is coming up next, when everything kind of looks the same. And on top of that you throw rain and brake markers hidden under puddles and grip levels changing. I don't envy any of the drivers tonight.
Yeah.
No, it is going to be one of the toughies on the calendar for sure. And just touching on that sort of no landmarks feature, it's almost just got that feel that you just got that repetition after halfway through the circuit, that you just kind of, if you're not concentrating, you forget where you are, and suddenly you're caught going into a right-hander that you did not expect, and playing lawnmower on the grass, and just watching.
I'm convinced the designer of this track was so impressed with the first half He just copied it for the second half.
Yeah, like just switched it over basically. Copied.
If you're going down, what's that, Club Straight, or you're going down Wellington Straight, they feel like the same place.
Oh, they really do. It's one of those things that can just catch you unaware. So I feel like we need to do a little run through of some of the drivers here and some of the liveries, a little spotter's guide with 8 minutes remaining of the quali session. Guys running around. Let's get a look at our competitors. Some of these drivers are not able to be here.
Versace clinching the pole position as you're saying that though.
Yeah, Arno's had a little bit of practice in these wet conditions. He snooped out my server testing earlier. I may need to make my server password security a little bit harder for this micro hacker. So without further ado, let's pull up our liveries and let's do a little drivers run through. So there are drivers that are missing. They will still feature here. So Bruno Cadhill for Silverback Racing, that number 88 Mercedes-AMG GT3. You got JK Minar for Kai Racing in his McLaren 720S. Number 96, the Kai boys you'll spot. Number 933, Swift Motorsports, Louis Fisser, the Ferrari 488 GT3. Number 69, JP Britton, Awesome Source Racing in his Bentley Continental GT3. Corne Strauss for EKZ Motorsport, numbers 55 in his Lamborghini Huracan GT3 EVO. Noah Hendricks for SRC Racing, number 9 in that red Ferrari 488 GT3. Franco Albertine for Amped to Race, number 85 in the AMR V8 Vantage. You'll see a couple of these Amped to Race boys. There's his teammate Stark Buerter, number 81, indistinguishable apart from their number differences. Stefan de Vet, 008 SS Motorsports with his Bentley Continental GT3. So the problem actually, we can't pull up this livery run through at this point in time because we got a random order and we'll pull it up again. I just need to change a couple of settings with it. So there's a couple of competitors here that are getting double screen features, and that's just because I think it's going through a random order. Okay.
You set your slideshow to random, did you?
Well, you know, sometimes you set the slideshow to random, and
sometimes one does.
Sometimes one does. So Arno Versace still at the top without being really contested for time because
205,199. That puts him a second and a half clear of anyone else.
He really has a special kind of pace at the moment with these like semi-wet conditions around the circuit.
Yeah, he
just has it dialed in.
He's kind of loving it at the moment. I mean, guys run sort of 203s, 202s if they kind of slow in dry conditions, and he's running 205s here in these conditions. So right now, really starting to master these conditions, and guys that are struggling, not really what you would expect, or where you would expect them to be. Bruno Cadhill currently sitting in 6th, and he's currently our championship leader. And we've got Jason Absmeyer, also 2nd place on the championship, struggling, sitting down in 10th place, not managing to find a way around these tires. And here, pulling over to the side, he's just struggling for pace around the outside. Who else? Up here, Gray Ritchie as well. Also another driver who've seen...
Yeah, not someone... so low down.
Our resident
favorite car.
Fan? No, Mr. 44.
Pomolo. Our new entry. He's racing in a livery that was not the livery that was submitted for the driver run through. So I think again, at least he got his number this time. Last week he didn't have his right number. Here he managed to grab number 44. So like you said, a Hamilton fan for sure. And
but we won't hold that against him.
I mean, I wouldn't hold anything against any driver trying to drive this race this evening. There's only 4 minutes left to quali, and everybody managing to at least get a lap in bar Mr. Vivian Richards.
I must say, it does unfortunately look like the Porsches are struggling.
The Porsches are struggling big time. Victor de Kock, though, on a fast lap at the moment, though, he could potentially do something.
Let's get a little on board with... Victor in these conditions. So you can see the windscreen wiper kind of working furiously, but not really clearing too much water at the moment.
Oh, that's going to hurt him, though.
Slidey.
See where he finds himself. Nope, not able to best his time.
I am impressed with Arno Versace managing to get a Lamborghini on pole in these conditions. Like, I've driven that cat Lamborghini. It is a squirrely affair in the best of conditions. And we saw last week at Brands Hatch, a couple of times the Lamborghinis were understeering a bit, losing their front end. I honestly did not expect a good showing from a Lamborghini in the wet.
No. And yeah, I mean, the Brands Hatch, that are so squirrely in that front section that this is a huge surprise. Especially coming through this first corner here, how he's able to just stick it and go. See, this dry line has formed beautifully, though. Like we were talking about earlier, finding that line, the dry line has formed very nicely.
And things could all change over, over to the race conditions. So these quali conditions are, just something to deal with now. In 2 minutes, things could completely be different. We're going over to a different day, really, simulated. Quali is taking place on a Saturday, and our race on a Sunday. So things are going to be a little bit different. Could also be a rainy weekend for the whole weekend, as it does often in the UK. So I feel like right now, trying to play weatherman and predict it is just not really easy.
Yeah.
I was trying to see now if we can pull which car is doing the best, but our top 4 are all different brands. And after that, it's just the scattering of Astons and Mercs. All I can really say at this point is the Porsches are not enjoying the wait. The highest placed Porsche at the moment is Gray Ritchie 9th. And last week's race winner, Jason Absmeyer, 10th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jason, I know, not a fan of weather conditions and not a fan of unpredictable weather conditions. These ones are most certainly not something that he'll be enjoying this evening. The unpredictability side of things is, it's something difficult to deal with, and I feel like those weather gods have not really downpoured this track enough to make wet tires warranted if a race would start now. As we see Minar spinning off just in front of Richie there while we're following him around, and Richie seems to be dialing his Porsche in a little bit each time, adapting, like we said, to the conditions. Almost getting absolutely murdered there.
Quite squiggly there. Stay away from the curbs on the best of days.
He did.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. And 100%, when you're on the curb, again, he is trying to play dice with his life at this point with that Porsche in the wet on a damp curb. I mean, those curbs are just like a concrete sliding hell. And at this point, there's no one really touching them either, so they're just going to be ultra slippery and really wanting to... And really drivers here are going to, struggle with that idea of, trying to stiffen up the car like you would in drier conditions, although Silverstone's quite bumpy, so you would run a little bit softer, but you do have to soften everything up in the wet. And I think with such a short amount of time being chucked into this, 7 seconds remain of this quali section, and this is going to be our timetable for the grid.
In the Porsches have dropped down all the way 11th, 12th, 16th.
Porsches have struggled immensely.
Let me do a quick run through here of our starting grid. Versace in first, Cadhill in second, Basson in third, De Kock in fourth, Modipane in fifth, Kleb in sixth, Buerta in seventh, Visser in eighth, Alberton in ninth, Britton in 10th, Ritchie in 11th, Absmeyer in 12th, Joe Burr in 13th, De Vet in 14th, Hendricks in 15th, Malotto in 16th, Minar in 17th, Richards in 18th, and rounding things off, Lawrence down in 19th place. So almost 20 cars starting here at Silverstone. It is going to be a busy grid. And
that first corner.
With full damage, damage as full as it can go, plus weight, plus 19 cars. I hope we get a clean first couple of corners here. The beginning of Silverstone is not the most tricky of things. Where are we? Our starting line in this version is down the just after Woodcott, I believe.
Correct. This I just wanna. You're gonna have to change over to our. What's it called?
The race.
You're gonna have to do our manual start when we go into our race here, Eddie. So just remember / manual start. I'm just having that normal replay where it looks like it is. It looks like it looks like it has got wet here.
Yeah, this has got
Just
very,
a
very
quick
wet.
thing about that manual start. Is it 2 words, 1 word?
/ manual space start.
Thank you.
I hate that it changes the cameras bug out between race sessions. It just makes it super hard to do anything. So if we go here,
Look
we
at
get
these
some drive
conditions,
and
though.
no, this is going to be panic stations. I feel.
Yeah, I
at
know.
this
There's
point.
all, look at
There's-
all the cars up on their hydraulics. Every car trying to sort out a tune and a. And
It
a
is
set of
raining
tires.
here at Silverstone. Look how wet it is. Let's try and just get a little run through of the grid here. Visachi, Cadhill, Basson, De Kock, Madapane, Kleb, Buerta and Visser, Britain and Albertine, Absmeyer and Ritchie, Jobert and De Vet, Hendricks, Malotto, Richards, Minar, and Lawrence.
Just between you and me, Mr. G,
Yes.
when I type in that command, I am told by the game that command has changed.
Okay, so they just have their normal manual starts then with it's the one that Kunos has built in. Remember, we're testing it, so that is not unexpected that we've had that. So we're going over to the formation lap here, ultra wet conditions, a 1 hour race, a mandatory stop to change tires, and I think it might be it might be a tire change that they get to use if things dry up. It's not set to rain all the time. Well, not in our control really. But the formation lap will be starting off now.
Part of me
Yep.
is very happy that it's wetter than quali was.
Yeah.
It had to get wetter than quali was really for the tire effectiveness. So I agree with you entirely.
Now start seeing how the cars are kicking up lovely rooster tails.
It is going to make
Lovely
things very
reflections
interesting.
on the track. It'll be quite a race. So just as we're doing our formation laps, just a quick rundown. Silverstone, 18 corners, 5.9 kilometers of pure flatness.
Yeah.
You'd know better than me. Is wind a factor in ACC?
I actually couldn't answer that. I don't think that I've noticed wind being a factor, but I can't quite comment on it, and I don't want to be completely
I'll
incorrect.
do some research into that and have a look for the next one.
Just
you
look
in
how
the comments there, the Dominus Gaming World Speedboat Series.
yeah, it is wet here, and it has got very, very wet into these race conditions, which I think a lot of guys will be happier about.
I'm now wondering if this is going to help our Porsches get their tires activated, and maybe we can see Mr. Ritchie and Mr. Absmeyer fight their way forward after what can only be described as a dismal qualifying.
I don't know. Do Porsche have much of a history in powerboat racing, though?
I think you can put a Porsche motor in about anything, and it would be competitive, really. I mean, we are biased towards Porsches. But look how wet these conditions are. Rain lights required. Lights on, lights on. It is not nighttime, but it feels pretty dark at this stage. And we are rounding off our formation lap. We're getting to that halfway point as the cars get themselves through this chicane, which I feel like is going to be an absolute death trap when the puddles start to form up on the inside line and you're forced to go wide. It's not a corner that favors you doing it, so...
No, this club corner here is going to be a very interesting one to see some guys try to get it right through that section there. But here they are forming up a little bit, coming through this section down the straight.
I just found us a little bit of trivia concerning Porsche and Silverstone.
Uh-huh.
The Silverstone has what they call a tourist trophy, which is an event that happens here once in a while. And of all the WEC competitors this year, Porsche is the only manufacturer that has never won the Silverstone tourist trophy. So clearly Porsche not a fan of.
And correct
the
me if I'm
British
wrong,
countryside.
that tourist trophy is one of the longest running motorsport
Yes,
cups.
1905 was
Yeah.
the first one.
That's over 100 years of motorsport on this circuit. Oof.
So we're getting into our formation zone very shortly.
Oh, Werner Jobert having a jump back to the pit, so has
I
Malotto.
see a
There's
lot of
number
guys jumping back to the pits there. Was there an incident that we missed?
I was
Possibly
actually
on
on Werner there. No incident whatsoever. Completely
Oh, a car
clean
just
and suddenly-
completely went straight through. Okay, I'm not sure what happened down there, but cars jumping back to the grid. And Jason Absmeyer involved there as well. So a bunch of cars having to jump back. Cars trying to make up placements at the back there to catch up to these leaders about to start. Arne Vasaki going to lead things away. Cadhill in second place. Drivers are urged to be very, very cautious on their opening laps. And I think it is going to be very, very much needed here at Silverstone in the wet. So Arne Vasaki leads Cadhill. He leads on Besson and De Kock. That's going to be a interesting fight up at the front. And rounding now onto the start-finish straight here. The lights will go green anytime now. And we'll be live for round 3 for Dominus Gaming's ACC GT3 Season 1. Green lights are go. We are live. Drive-through penalty given immediately to Lawrence there. As you see, Vasaki on the inside of Bruno Cadhill. Cadhill going around the outside, trying to go the long way round. Does manage to get himself alongside, almost ahead. Is he ahead? It looks like he gets a nose ahead. Vasaki trying to fight back as they go through Beckett's. It is just a bunch of cars behind as well. Look at everybody getting through the field almost entirely clean. A lot of these guys at the back of the pack. Oh, look at all these guys rejoining here. They were all in the pits at the start of the formation lap. They've got a lot of time to make up. Jumping back to our front leaders here. Vasaki, he's trying to hold off Besson here. Besson also trying to make a move. Vasaki, he's lost another position here.
Pomolo.
Coming down the hanger straight. Pomolo also jumping up there. 5th position for him. Representing Kai K Racing. An incorrect livery. That should be brighter colors, but going to be difficult to see in the darkness here.
Now, Lawrence Visser having a huge off there as he's lost a massive amount of time. Bled a couple of positions there coming through that straight section there.
So
Besson coming back through club now as well, so that he's struggled immensely through that section. He's lost at least 2 positions there.
Let's try and get some driver name tags here so we can see. Vasaki, Besson, Kleb will enter into the battle with Vasaki. Vasaki there managing to hold of Besson, but Kleb, he's going to be having a little look-see as well. He's trying to fight and find a place past Besson. He knows that there's cars ahead, there's traffic, everybody's trying to keep themselves clean and try and find a way around. And to do so, you're going to slow yourself down. That means you can close the gap down, and Kleb's trying to do so, but he's not managing to hold on to Besson coming through. Oh, Kleb has made a big mistake. Kleb into the wall. Off he goes. Kleb getting on the power too early, and a passenger here doing donuts on the side, bleeding positions.
That's
as
going to cost him dearly.
Yeah,
Was
Cadhill
there contact or did he
continues.
split?
No, all on his own. All on his own.
I didn't even
Last-
contact the wall. He managed to just keep it.
It was the
sitting
curb,
on grass.
the curb on the wall as well. Yeah, he didn't touch the curb, so hopefully no damage for him. Cadhill crosses the line to start the second lap here. It is pouring with rain here at Silverstone. If you wanted it to be wetter than quali, you got what you wanted.
Making a move on Minar coming down towards Cops. Oh no, but he's lost out a little bit now.
Now we'll get back on board here. Albertine looking to make a move on Minar. Minar trying to... Oh! Big accident. De Vet into Albertine. Or Minar into the back of De Vet into Albertine. There was a very slow car. I'm not sure why De Vet was stationary in the middle of the track there. Let's try and get a little replay back. 30 seconds back in time here with De Vet. Let's see what happened. Coming through. He's on the power.
Back onto the track.
he comes around. He's lost control of his Bentley. He's gone for a big slide, coming back onto track, and just into the middle of everything. Menard, Tvet has caused a massive incident there. A race review for sure, and a steward's inquiry most definitely going to be needed for what just took place there. And that's caused Menard, I'm pretty sure, a lot of damage.
Lawrence, coming out of the pit after his drive-through, spins it into a wall on the pit exit.
Oh no.
So we catch him right at the end. He does. Too much power and just getting out of the pits for a drive-through. Lawrence there, these wet conditions, claiming victims early on here down the back of the pack. Stark Buertzer's got Visser all over him. That Aston Martin trying to defend against the Ferrari.
Just a quick word from the front of our race. Cadil building himself a 4.5 second lead over the squabbles behind him. That Mercedes, I think it's heavy enough to just sit in the water and touch the ground.
Yeah, and also he's got himself out of trouble jumping over to Cadil here. He's got himself out of trouble. He's managed to, like you said, get himself that gap of breathing space. Doesn't have anyone down the back of his throat, and can now just, manage on concentrating on these wet conditions, which is what you need. It's so hard trying to stay in a pack of cars and, keep the pace up, navigate the puddles, know where you can and can't brake. The car's going to be grabbing at, every opportunity it has to try and kill you. It is such a tough race to really try and focus on, and everybody really trying to do their best here. Incidents do happen, and nothing is intentional.
Another person having a horrible time at this moment is Mr. Moloto. He's now been off the track once or twice. He just doesn't seem like these Porsches are waking up in these conditions.
Guy Ritchie seems Great Ritchie, apologies, has actually pulled himself quite nicely up. He's finding himself in 6th position at the moment, and is actually running himself quite nicely behind this little train of Buertzer and Visser. So
yeah, and if Visser gets back to his fighting position with Buertzer there, Ritchie will really be in that driver's seat to, take advantage of any mistakes that one of those two drivers makes. And it's not really evident to me that we see a dry line forming up just yet from the spectator view, which I'm not sure if it's as accurate as what you would see as an in-game representation. So I don't want to comment on what dry lines or wet lines are forming up. But from a commentator point of view, the amount of raindrops going past the camera, I would say it's pretty damn wet out there. And look at Visser. Visser's getting himself right up there to Stark Buertzer, right onto the back. Let's go and jump onto, look at the view that you get here. You've got the spray coming up from the car in front. You've got the rainwater coming off from everywhere, just from the sky. And then you're just trying to find your way through, a line that just doesn't exist, because either there's a curb. It's Visser doing well to just get off the power there. Doesn't want to put them at risk of ruining, one another's race. We've got 53 minutes left to racing, and it's not a time to be diving down. So forming up into trains and staying in that follow position is really what drivers want to be doing. And I think good racecraft coming out from Visser, just staying at bay, not putting Buertzer under unnecessary pressure where the two of them are going to just bin it straight away, and just finding a place where he's going to make the move possible. So they're coming down the start-finish straight here now. It's then back hard onto the brakes a little bit squiggly, trying to stay off that curb, navigate around. Nice run coming from Visser here. Visser going to try and get a little alongside action going here. Let's see if our helicopter camera can keep up with the action as they go through the Beckett's complex. That looks like Versace up ahead. He's made a mistake. He looks like a very slow Lamborghini going through there. As Stark Buertzer looks like he's got the control through that part of the track, really just getting out there. Visser with a slower exit.
Really, Versace was much more comfortable in qualifying conditions. He's well off the pace that he managed in quali. I mean, everybody's well off the pace. So we're doing 2:16s at the front.
Is this Lamborghini damaged? No, it looks okay. I think he's just struggling. You know what? It's a lot of traction. it's a lot of traction control. He's had to jack that right up. He's not comfortable in the wet here. He's had to jack the traction control up, and because of the twitchy nature of this aggressive Lamborghini, it's cutting a lot of his power and his ability to get it down on the exits. And it's just evidence with that Buerta-Visser combination behind, and now Richie going to enter the fray too. They just are running a much more power-friendly combination here in the wet. And I like you said earlier, that Lamborghini in wet conditions is not fun. And we're going to see some action attraction going down now. Visagie trying to make the wide Lamborghini even wider. And I think, he's got the idea of what he wants to do. You can't go too defensive through here in the wet. You're going to take a lot of curb, and you got to be careful of your exit. Visagie doing very well though to hold these guys off. He's notably slower in his Lamborghini with his setup that he's had to run for the wet conditions, and he's going to make it hard for Buerta. He runs quite wide, going to run very wide, going to stay on the inside. He does. He keeps that inside line, manages to keep that car from twitching completely out. And Visagie and Buerta really giving it the beans here, trying to find themselves a little switcheroo in position. Visagie holds third.
Through Woodcock though, fantastic acceleration through there. Look at that, yeah.
Well, look at Buerta trying on the inside. Visagie going to try and defend against it, and he will. Holds that inside line, does not let Buerta get through at all. And once again, going to have to go ultra defensive in his Lamborghini here. Buerta going to have to try and find a way through. Let's go into Buerta's onboard and just try and see what he's trying to deal with here in the wet. And just look how fast he is. He's going to try on the inside. Oh, they've made contact. They've made contact and they've gone off. Can we get a view of this? Cameraman, please find it. They have Buerta's off the track waiting. Visagie's rejoining the track. So Visagie's rejoined. And unfortunately, that little battle has not worked out. So Buerta did well to just wait there. Did try and have a look on the inside. Visagie tried late to close the door there. And just there's nothing you can do as a follow car really in that situation. You can't get on the brakes any harder, and collision was made. Buerta waiting up there, but a position change will take place, allowing Richie to be the man with a plan up into third place now.
And gentlemen, you were talking about your Porsche. There he is.
He seems to have found a rhythm in the wetter conditions compared to what he could manage in qualifying.
I'm telling you, Eddie, it is 100% to do with the problem with the those early rain conditions. I don't think anyone was able to find a tire compound that was working unless everyone was cranking their wets to the lowest PSIs or running a dry set. Or Richie making a little, getting squiggly coming out.
The Porsches are struggling to warm up their front tires in qualifying. And it is quite a back-heavy car, if you will. And without front end on the Porsche, you can't put your power down confidently.
Well, you have no fuel load as well. You're going to be running very.
Jason Absmeyer, Mapolo, and Franco Albertine. Beautiful little train, little bit of a drag race going on between one of your Porsches and an AMG.
Yeah, so Absmeyer alongside Modipane on the outside.
Absmeyer does well, but he runs out of space.
He is going to run wide, and Albertine is going to see that and feel like he's going to be able to capitalize on it a little bit. These wet conditions, very, very tricky for the drivers. And everybody here, like we mentioned earlier, doing their utmost best.
Shout out to Christos Basson. He is not only pulling a lead on third place, he is slowly but surely chopping away at Cadill's lead. Cadill's lead a while back was up in the 7 seconds. It's now down to around about 5 seconds. So Christos finding his groove somewhere along the line in the Lexus.
Absmeyer once again on the inside. Modipane making a mistake. Going to capitalize on it. And Absmeyer going to make it stick. Albertine, is he going to do the same? I think he is. I think he's going to get through.
Pomolo stationary, struggling to get going. Currently still in the grass.
Yeah, Pomolo not managing to make that work out. Our cameraman here on a little bit of a mission to make us all a little bit motion sick. I'm sorry. They do not like trying to capture the action through here. Modipane rejoins the race down to 10th position and will be kicking himself for making that error. The pressure from Absmeyer just showing up to be too much. And Absmeyer up into 7th place Currently second in the championship. Cadhill, of course, the championship leader in first place.
And currently about to lap his second. I think this is now third person he's about to lap.
Okay, so let's watch some of the lap car action from Bruno. Oh, he's still got a little way. You can tell me when he's going to come up. I want to see how the blue flags are being treated by drivers today.
I definitely will let you
And
know.
I want to see some more of the action on the track. It looks like our closest gap is really Absmeyer and Obertain, which is quite big. And then Breton and... Is that Malorto? Malorto making a mistake? No. Malorto not making a mistake. My mistake. He's doing quite well down into 14th. He's not liking the wet conditions. And he's trying to do his best to just catch up to Breton's Boatley. And I mean, amply named. I don't think it can really use its strengths here, which is mostly capitalizing on the curbs. Those are things that everybody's avoiding at this point. So it's straight line speed going to work out. Malorto going to have a little look-see on the inside. What a move from Malorto. Up the inside of Breton. Makes it stick. And that is beautiful racing coming out from Malorto of Kai Kai Racing. That's what we like to see from the Porsche boys. Moves like that. Carry your pride around in a wheelbarrow. It's so big.
Vanna Hubert in his first race with us, but Kleb, I mean, he's less than half a second behind that Mercedes.
Oh, you are right. Kleb going to try little hello, I'm here on the inside. Not going to try and make a move, of course. Just it's that fake. I know what you want to do. I want to do it too. And Kleb going to look on the inside again. He's just trying to bully Jabir here. Make him make mistakes if he can. And Kleb with the pace advantage. And there we go with the Jabir making a... He's not. He's going to make it stick on the inside there. And really well done from Kleb to keep it together. Jabir, I think, also making a smart move there to just ease off the power as opposed to really a mistake. He could maybe sense it coming. But it felt like a good decision to just let the faster car go past. With 44 minutes left of the race, there's no need to race someone that is clearly faster pace at this point. I think that letting someone by, with this amount of time left to go is, not the worst decision.
The gents, we've had 2 retirements from the race, Stefan de Vet and Sean Lawrence.
No, I mean, Lawrence, that was almost coming with his unfortunate start to things. The drive-through penalty followed with the binning it into the wall out of the pits. And
I tried to see what his drive-through penalty was for, but...
it would be for his pits, his formation lap. Yeah.
I went back and had a look at the replay. He got on the power way too early for what the green command was. So I think it was probably a jump start.
Yeah. Probably a jump start penalty there coming out for him. So Kleb here now catching up to Modipane. And we've had a little ride along with Kleb and he's just made up pace. Modipane making a mistake on the worst part that you can make a mistake, which is a straight. And that's just going to let that Aston Martin V8 breeze on by that Mercedes. And Kleb makes up another position up into 9th place. Modipane will still be the gatekeeper.
Anu Fisaki is crawling. What happened? Let me see if I can... Anu Fisaki has had it off somewhere. I can't quite see where, but he was crawling up the main straight. And it's now dropped him behind Buerta, I believe?
Fisser.
Behind Fisser.
Yeah. Buerta as well. Yeah, you're right. Buerta... Absmeyer, they've all gone past.
It has not updated properly on my screen.
No, so he's dropped all the way down. So Absmeyer has made the move on Versace. Buerta's moved on past him. Albertine moved on past Versace as well.
He must have had an off because as I cut to him, he was going slowly up the main straight.
I mean, it's very possible. His car doesn't look damaged from a viewer perspective here, which is not always 100% accurate. So yeah, it's not. It doesn't look like he's comfortable. We haven't seen him look comfortable in these conditions at all. So bleeding of positions for Versace in the ultra wet. Jason Absmeyer still continues to make his way back up into 5th place after having to start down in 10th position, I believe. with a horrific qualifying, not adapting to those quali sessions or conditions
quick
at
word
all.
from our leader, now with a 14-second lead.
Yeah, no, it's a bit mental, and he's actually now within under a second of Victor de Kock, who's actually, my apologies, this will be his first victim that he's about to. So he's about to lap his first person here.
20 minutes into the race, and we're about to get the laps on.
Yep.
Yeah, Cadhill, who also, of course, needs a notable mention. I mean, he wasn't enjoying the quali conditions for someone that we've seen dominate the quali sessions previously, but really showing that racecraft that he's got, and onto De Kock and move done. De Kock gets out the way, and the Silverback Racing AMG breezes on by. So I think I can now redo a run through of our drivers whilst we follow along with Bruno here in the background. Let's hope this time around it actually works out. Let's see our full rundown of our drivers that are here. So Arno Versace for Pink Panther Racing, number 94 in his Lamborghini Huracan. There's Bruno, number 88, his Silverback Racing Mercedes-AMG. Corne Strauss, who unfortunately couldn't be in the race tonight, number 55 for EKZ in his Lamborghini, with Etienne Kleb, number 78 for Amter Race, and an AMR V8. Not the first that you'll see tonight, because there's his teammate, number 85, Franco Albertine. Also, those Astons, quite popular in the field. Gray Ritchie, that beautiful Senna Racing Porsche 9912 GT3 R, and an equally beautiful paint job from JK Manar's KK Racing McLaren 720S. Jason Absmeyer, another Porsche, some bias, pretty blacked out with some green, I like it. JA Racing, number 90. JP Breton, Awesome Source Racing, talking about green cars, here's another, number 69, a Bentley Continental GT, the only one that we've got here. No, two we've got here.
We've got two.
Laz Cavor, number 206 for Vuko Racing. He's not here tonight, unfortunately. Louis Fisser, the red version of the Ferrari 488 GT3 for Swift Motorsport. Nico Yonk, representing
out of the race.
Samurai Racing, number 68. Noah Hendricks, number 9 for SRC Racing in his Ferrari 488. And in the correct livery this week round, Pomolo Marapane, who should be in this beautiful beast, currently running in the black, number 44 for KK Racing. Number 34, Renier van Skalkvik, the other member of Swift Motorsport in the other Ferrari. Sean Lawrence, number 25, who's unfortunately retired. A beautiful Aston Martin that we'll not get to see on the field. Stark Buerta, number 81, another Amter Race driver, and another Aston Martin V8. Stefan De Vet, number 008 for SS Motorsport. That's our other Bentley Continental. I almost forgot about his Bentley. And that will be... Is that my full grid rundown? I feel like I didn't get... It doesn't pick everybody up every time. We're gonna have to fix it. I feel like it has like a limit, or it doesn't pick everybody up, but I'm not quite sure why it does that. So resuming the race.
Into the pits.
Yeah, we've had a couple guys come into the pits.
Are we at
Hendricks,
pit time, boys? Are we at pit time?
I think a couple guys trying the undercut.
Just a quick
38
word
minutes
from the
in.
field. Louis Fisser is one of our next retirees, so we've lost Sean Lawrence, Stefan De Vet, and Louis Fisser from the race.
Oh, that's unfortunate. The field down to 16 now, and drivers really starting to feel these wet conditions. It does not look like it's drying up. It looks like it's staying pretty wet. And Basson there getting a little bit of a drift going in his Lexus. Just showing us how wet those conditions are. Cannot get on the power early. And everybody having to... Louis Fisser, he retired. He was running quite well in the field as well earlier on, hey?
Yeah, I know he was doing quite nicely. I believe he was in 4th at one point.
Yeah, on my screen it does say that he retired while in 4th.
While in 4th, yeah.
So he must have had a major off that we unfortunately didn't get on camera.
Jason not going to be unhappy
is-
about the race
Yeah.
failures from his fellow competitors, though.
I
That
was
means
about to
fourth
say,
position
Jason
for him.
Fourth from, I think he qualified 16th, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, it could be as far back as that. I don't think it was as far back as it was.
Somebody in the chats mentioned
10th?
it earlier. I
maybe
think
I'd
in the
made a
chat they said
mistake.
16th to 8th, and now he's up
Okay.
into 4th.
Yeah, I should have made a note of the quali positions. The server does dump them in case we have a server issue and we have to restart. So we can restart in the correct. We can just load the grid positions up. But I should just have a screenshot of them as well, because it is hard to remember where everyone started from, the where, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Eddie, I know you liked it.
I like any song references. I do feel that it is important, though, that you know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. As Jason Absmeyer goes around for a bit of a spin.
Big
Watch,
spin.
watch.
Almost making contact with the Aston Martin of Buerta as he comes past.
Giving that 4th position to Mr. Buerta in his,
He may
little bit
lose
of-
out to Albertine here as well, especially at the coming up to the end of the straight here. I have a feeling this is going to really punish him here through Stowe.
Yeah, like we've mentioned so many times, make mistakes in like the chicane where everybody's slowing down, not where everybody's foot flat on the accelerator pedal. It's never a nice place to find yourself, and Jason drops a position back to 5. But I feel like with his pace and what's been happening prior to that incident there, he will give us a fighting battle with Buerta, which
Yeah,
as
apparently
viewers
that-
we are not upset about.
They are
no.
currently
Ooh,
our
a drive
closest
through for
battle.
Victor de Kock popping up there. Mr. Victor de Kock obviously
I think
exceeding.
someone sped
Oh,
in the pit
inside
lane.
for Jason, and Buerta so wide on the outside he had to pay to get back onto the circuit. Absmeyer
Ooh.
just breezes on by and takes back that 4th position, and not
having a
going to
look
be sorry
here.
about it at all.
So Victor comes out of the pits, and
No, I think we've seen another retirement. Victor now disappearing off my screen.
yeah, no, I'm just looking what his drive-through was for, and was definitely he went into 2nd gear while still in this pit lane, so his pit limiter
limiter
got
to-
So
cancelled.
perhaps a rage quit's coming out here from Victor. Not
I think
sure.
that may
He
have
may
resulted
have
in the rage, yeah.
It
Why
may
is
have-
Christos Basson stationary on track?
It may have been a dropout. He has he made a mistake? 30 seconds
don't
back.
know.
Let's
He-
go
he
follow. We're on a
literally stopped
replay
on
here
the
with
track.
Basson. Let's see what's happened. Start, finish straight. Sideways.
Oh, it's very
Big sideways. Big spin. He stalled it. Is he not able to get the car back? Is he not
He
able to
was-
start the car again?
He was stationary when
Richie
went
came past.
flying past.
Yeah, Richie does come fly
This
past.
is promoted Richie to 2nd position, though.
Oh, it took him a long time. He stalled it. That's what happened. He couldn't get the car started.
There was lots of panic in those button boxes. Many buttons were smashed there.
You know what happened is he's got the starter and the ignition, and
Right
he
next to
switched
each
the whole
other.
ignition off, and then was trying to start it, and it wouldn't go, and then he got it going again. So Basson drops down to 3rd. Absmeyer now, again, not going to be sad about mistakes like this. Basson was having a pretty phenomenal race. He built up a big lead, but all of a sudden, it suddenly changes.
Well, he's still in 3rd. He's still in the podium, and he's got some time to the driver behind him. I mean,
Franco
Absmeyer
overtaking
is
the
pushed.
pits.
When you say he's got time to the driver behind him, he does not
I mean
have
that-
much dry time to the driver behind him, considering he had built up such a lead, and he's got
Well,
an
that's the
Absmeyer
thing.
behind. It's not any driver; it's an Absmeyer.
That is also
So,
something worth
second
mentioning. It
in the
isn't just
league
a
driver.
But this could now see you gentlemen with a Mercedes first, but a Porsche 2nd and 3rd. I'm sure you guys are going to be bouncing off the walls at that.
Richard, are
I
you
mean,
trying
when
to
you
accuse
say
us of being
you-
biased to Porsche?
When we
Not
say
biased,
he says
favoritism.
he says you guys. He used to be a
Well, I got
Porsche fan
accused
as
of
well.
being I got accused of being a dirty Bentley driver the other day. So you know what?
But you are
You are a dirty Bentley driver. It's like not even that is what you are.
Well, there we go. You see, so now it's a them and us. And you,
Let
No.
me teach you the difference between opinion and fact, Mr. Richard.
Okay, without us getting into a full-on fisticuff on the stream
Yeah, that got
about
real
how bad Richard's choices are in cars. Guy Ritchie, Gray Ritchie, I do this
We do it
every
all the
time as
time.
well.
All
yeah.
the time.
Gray, just change your name to Guy. We got a deal going here. Gray Ritchie for Senna Racing. Oh, look at him. He's just kicking out the back here saying, "What's up?" to the stream. He hasn't gone into the pits. He hasn't changed his tires yet. So, obviously, trying to get as much out of this last tire set as he can.
Into the pits.
Richard,
I'm sure people are
almost-
going to start putting.
Yeah,
now.
I think we're
It's
going to start
halfway.
seeing some people.
Yeah, it's our 31-minute mark. It's that stock standard, 50% of the way, 50% of the tires.
Richie almost collecting somebody going very slow there. Who's that?
It's Richards
That was Richards.
for Bulfigor Racing, I think it is.
Blue and yellow.
Yeah, there's no
Aston.
blue. There's green and purple.
I was on the helicopter view, so it's a bit fuzzy on my screen.
We need a sponsorship from Specsavers next, please.
Yes.
Eddie has completely wrecked delivery here as Basson goes on by, lapping on Richards there, just getting
I'm
nicely
gonna
out the way, and
suggest-
he's got Absmeyer coming up also into just a
Absmeyer's
place you don't want to
closed
be.
that gap,
Richards is in full, I don't want to get in the way of these guys and interfere with their racing. So good racecraft from Richards. You can be in 13th place and get a shout out on the stream for just exercising some nice caution and not really interfering with
Gents,
anybody lapping you.
Seems like, oh no, Fisaki, where is he in the mix? Seems to be just behind Moloto on track. Has he been lapped? He has been lapped by
He has been
Moloto.
lapped.
Oh, but obviously he's done his pit stop already. That's what's confusing me.
So just the
In
other
Moloto,
thing
I
is
think he's
guys that are
Connect.
disconnected from, so there we go, our spotter in the race telling us we're halfway into the race. I expect a lot more pit stops to start to come in, but for now it looks like it will be a little run through of our running order. It will be Cadhill in first, Gray Ritchie in second, Christos Basson in third, Jason Absmeyer in fourth, Zebo Beloto in fifth, Vanna Jober with a great showing here into sixth, JP Breton into seventh, Franco Albertine into eighth, Stark Buerta into ninth, Etienne Kleb 10th, 11th for Pamolo Marapane, Noah Hendricks 12th, Vivian Richards 13th, Arno Versace in 14th, and Manar holding up the back there in 15th place.
Gee, as you were reading out your results, big off we see here from Mr. Werner Jabet having a big spin coming down the... Well, big spin, very big, hits the curb and it just sends him straight into the kitty.
Did he manage to keep it off the wall?
Yeah, he does quite well to keep it off the wall, keeps it about a meter
there's
away,
a-
but it takes
there's
him
a
a
little-
long time to get back on the track.
Is there a little battle going on behind there? Is that Albertine and Buerta?
So a quick
Oh no,
word
it
from
was
the front
Buerta and
again.
Manar. Okay, well, they were just getting on past.
26-second lead.
Absmeyer getting into the pits early here, so trying for the undercut on his fellow competitors. Fourth place when he gets into the pits. That's going to allow Moloto to decide on what he wants to do for his pit strategy. He's decided to stay on out, so Moloto will drive on into fourth. Oh, getting very, very squiggly there. He's got
on the brakes.
Versace trying to get himself back into that unlapped position, so he's going to be continuously nervous of that Lamborghini in the mirrors. I don't think it's going to be a factor when he gets a distance like this away from there. It's going to be Absmeyer exiting the pits, has completed his pit stop and tire change, so had built up a nice little gap there to get out on track. Moloto not too far in the distance. They're going to get onto the hangar straight at really not too far behind each other. Yes, my owl friend Richard.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. JP Britain, these Bentleys, you'd think with their weight they'd be doing the same as their AMGs, just be able to hunker down and take it. But these JP Britain struggling immensely with the 69 Bentley.
Dark Berta also going for a spin around.
So let's watch a little bit of Britain here.
The quick update, people who still need to pit would be Cadil, Ritchie, Basson, Moloto, Britain, Yobe, Richards and Menard. They the guys who decided to run past halfway.
Well, Grey Ritchie into the pits as we speak.
It'll be key now to see where. I'll keep an eye on where he comes out of the pits if he can keep that second position.
Well, he's just stopped, so let's see.
I'll keep an eye on Mr. Ritchie. Yeah, he's got a couple of guys who will be unlapping themselves, it seems.
Basson also going to be driving on into the pit box here.
Then, yeah, Ritchie is pretty much guaranteed of that second spot for now.
Yeah.
Malorto is running quite wide. I am going to just follow on him as he might be the next driver for third place. Absmeyer all over the back of him as well. Absmeyer going to go up the inside. Malorto not going to defend against this. Absmeyer and Malorto, you can't get contacts in the pits. Malorto and Absmeyer going on a very gentleman's drive on by them. Malorto just letting Jason get that inside line. Malorto stays out again. Wants to try and capitalize on getting a third place feature, even if it's just a mention. Oh, Malorto running very wide, almost.
Got very squiggly coming back onto the track there.
Yeah, that gave me heart palpitations.
Yeah.
Not nice seeing a car going almost out of control. It's definitely not nice seeing a Porsche going out of that control. So,
having driven the Porsche a lot, when you see that bum starts swaying.
Oh, it gets dangerous.
It's the end.
Malorto hasn't gone into the pits, so he's been driving the actual tread over these tackies, and will be looking to try and maybe go into the pits in the next couple of laps, because I feel like he is struggling out there at this point in time. It looks like he's struggling. He's not finding his apexes. I'm not sure if he's actually trying to adapt to a wet line. It could be trying to just get a little bit of cooling going. I don't think you'll need them in these conditions, but it does seem to be changing up his line a fair couple of times in the last couple of laps, and it could just be tires that are just running out of grip.
You do sometimes find in the wet that your standard racing line is not the grippiest line.
It's I mean, it's that sort of, when it just starts to rain, then you kind of need to get forced into the dry line if that starts to form up. From where I can see I can't see a dry line.
There's no dry line. No, it's bucketing too much for that to.
If I could,
happen.
just a comment on guys talking in the Twitch chat about the animated pit stops. Asking if this game does have animated pit stops. Ulti reckoning you potentially have maybe turned them off. Is that the case?
I wouldn't have by default. I mean, when I race, I see animated pit stops. So, not sure if it's just in the spectator bug.
Maybe it is just.
Do you see the animated pit stops?
I see no animated pit stops on my side either. I just thought maybe it's something that AC
Is it something you turned off, Richard?
No, I wouldn't have turned it off at all.
Yeah, so I think it's just maybe something with the spectator mode. But when I drive, the in-game one does have the men running around with the tires and the tire gun. So Malorto will jump back in to the pits finally. Those tires will be screaming thank you at the top of their lungs to him.
Well, Cad also needing to make that same pit stop and getting very squirrely through some of these sections here.
I mean, Cad Hill, in when we talk about drivers, we just need to talk about him almost in his in a league of his own.
We have to refer to him in future tense the whole time. That's how far ahead he is.
Yeah. Correct. He has just such an amazing control of this Mercedes. He has dived into this game and absolutely just found something that he loves to do. And it's a pleasure to watch him drive into race. And these wet conditions for him, it's like he's turned the rain off on his end, He feels like he can just continue to drive and do what he needs to do.
Can we get a bit of onboard action from him there?
We can, of course we can. Let's go and let's go for a little onboard action here with Bruno Cadhill.
I just want to see what his steering wheel does in braking zones. I mean, if he's on the limit, it'll be squirming. If he's comfortable, it'll just look.
I mean, you can just see how he's just softened everything down as well. I mean, this helmet cam is probably not the best view of things from the inside. But if we just jump on board,
There's
we get a
clearly a
little
lot
bit
of
of
body roll.
a dash cam. He's just softened things up. He's absorbing as much of that rain and that slippery condition into the car. And to me, it just looks like he's having a grand old time here. The wet conditions are wet, but he's managing to make it look like it's really not too much of a hassle. You hear that traction control ticking in. You can see how high he's running it there. It does take a lot of gentleness with your throttle as well to not bog the car down entirely, like we talked about with Arno earlier on, where I think he was kind of just learning that traction control at that level. Bruno here just looking like he's as happy as can be.
Yeah, I just point out Porsche second, third.
Second, third indeed.
Yeah.
As well it should be.
Gray Ritchie and Absmeyer here. Gray Ritchie running very wide, struggling. I think this might give Absmeyer what he needs to run past him. And it's going to set him up. He's on the inside. I think this is it.
Yeah,
Yep,
Absmeyer makes his way past. What a drive from Absmeyer.
Absolutely
madness.
Fantastic.
And let's not forget he's had a couple of spins. So it's not like Ritchie goes almost off track. But it's not like Absmeyer's had just a perfect race with no incident. He's struggled as much as anyone else and now still manages to get to second.
Yeah, a really fantastic drive, and he is still on it. You can see maximum attack everywhere, every corner he's on it.
Looking down our field here, no real close battles.
No, nothing
Vivian
really.
Richards coming out of the pits. I think that might leave literally just race leader Cadil to still pit as he jumps in the pits.
As he jumps into, yeah.
20 minutes to go, everyone is pitted, so the positions we'll see now are the actual race positions.
Yeah, we're going into that phase where things are starting to get into their actual race positions. Cadhill, Absmeyer, Ritchie, Albertine, Besson, Kleb, Buerta, Hendricks, Malotto, Madapane, Britton, Joe Burr, Richards, Minar. The survivors of Silverstone in the wet for Dominus Gaming's ACC GT3 Season 1. And absolutely loving the Sedo Corsa Competizione with the sh, because I can't say it like the Italians and the Frenchmen. Correct. Yeah, you guys can do it.
T.
No, I will do what I like. DominusGaming.com, the hub to go to. Not the incorrect page this time. DominusGaming.com is the place to go.
Make your way to the Dominus Discord channel. You literally have access to almost every racing group in this country. Oh,
Kleb's made a mistake here. Quickly, I'm just going to jump back here because I think I've just caught it at the right time. That casters curves. Oh, slideways and into a wall. Kleb.
Let's hope he didn't damage himself.
No, he damaged it. 100% it is damaged.
Yeah,
it's you
definitely.
don't. That car does not go into the wall. That angle at that speed and not come out feeling like it's just been battered around. So it looks like it's got some front end damage on the screen even. So I feel like Kleb, having damaged his car now, not going to be very happy with himself. 18 minutes left to go of the race, and he's got Buerta not too far behind him.
Yeah, he has
to
some
try and
decisions
take
to
a
make.
position down. Yeah, you either pit immediately or you deal with the damage and deal with the lap time deficit. So let's see what Kleb starts to do after this. His last lap was a 2:30.
Message from a chat. Kleb must be chucking indicator fluid all over the track now from that accident. If I may, just a quick shout out to Mr. Vanya Ube. First race with us. First race in anger with Dominus, really.
Yeah.
Sitting in 12th. Like, I'm just proud he's survived this far in such horrid conditions for a first time out.
Yeah, and it's a long race stint, an hour long. We are looking at doing some endurance races, longer endurance races in the future with some driver swaps as well. That will be cool. But for now, this is the longest that we really host, the hour longs. And it is something that you have to bear in mind when driving. It's not an easy condition to adapt to. It's raining, and you're of course racing other cars on the track. So all in all, not a fun experience as a first time out, I'm sure. Still fun, but not a fun. Does it make sense? Fun, but not fun.
Oh, big off from Grey
Like
Richie.
fun when you reflect on it. Oh, I see Richie in the background there going off into the abyss.
Definitely had to pay to get back in. There's no question about that one.
No,
He just ran a bit wide out of the corner. No damage. He kept it off the grass for most of it.
well, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
He'll be happy with that. So
he
16
into
minutes.
the next corner even. He's not on the correct line. I feel. I think he.
Oh, he's
He's
gonna
struggling after his pit stop.
picked up a lot of dirt on his tires coming down there as well. So it does take a little while for that to come off, and the car does not react to coming back on track very nicely at all. So I think it will be a couple of corners for him. Just keep an eye on those lines. If you do feel like it continues like that, we may have to keep an eye on that third place being at risk from Franco Albertine in fourth, because he's not far off the pace. And anything that Richie makes errors with will be for Albertine to capitalize on. So let's just keep an eye on that. Looking down the order, let's go jump down to Pomolo down in 9th place. He's got his teammate Maloto in 10th place behind him. Not at risk of losing it at this point. Maloto also just keeping it nice and safe. You know, safety. You have to finish the race to get points at all. And I think everybody here is well aware of that fact. So the guys that have dropped out are the real losers at the end of the day when it comes to the championship. You get, punished because either your line has dropped or, you've had an incident there. So sticking to the end of the race is always going to be the place to be, sticking for the points. Long championships like we have here, it doesn't matter if you just have a bad race. As long as you are there and you race and you're consistent, you can make it up in the races to come. Not necessarily for the guys that are always championship contenders and up at the top. You might not be awarded the same sort of leniency, but if you're a mid-pack runner, the positions change up so often that just committing to that consistent racing and being in each event helps at the end of the day when you get to that final leaderboard score.
You can't win a race in the first lap.
No.
You can definitely lose a race in the last lap, but you can't get any points for not doing all the laps.
That was beautiful. Did you write it down?
I know these things. It is part of my being. I bleed in
That's
races.
just, you just
Eddie
literally
does,
twisted
things.
your nipples and that came out.
That's how it is. That's how it happens.
Eddie Radio. Eddie Radio FM. So just a shout out while we're at it to my co-casters, Mr. Richard Angelus Zede, as we like to call him, Angelus. He's got a Twitter account that you can follow him on at Angelus Zede. He also runs a racing community over on the PS4 side of things. So if you're interested in jumping into a PS4 community, hit up Angelus Zede.
Yeah, logistical nightmare racing.
There we go. We've also then got, who normally does our camera work, Mr. Steady Eddie. He's now our facts man and poet, really. He's here for his beautiful, good, voice. That was the word I was looking for. So, Spandex Cobra. You're Spandex Cobra on the internet, correct?
I am, but avoid me on Twitter. Rather come over to Monday Night Racing and get yourself behind the wheel and race with us.
Yes, so there's alternating games there, mostly Project Cars 2 and Acero Corsa Competizione. I'd say mostly, those are the two. One day I will convince Eddie to do a Monday night drifting, but that will probably be only on Christmas or sometime when Eddie's away with no signal and I have control of the Discord. So for the moment, Project Cars 2 and Acero Corsa Competizione, we want casual drivers, we want guys to experience the racing. If you're not keen on getting into a league, but you still want to have that exhilaration of not being able to go to bed at night after you finish a race, Monday Night Racing, that's what we got for you. So let's jump back into things. That was our little plug of the day. Our free shill, of course. If you also look at the top of the stream, you'll also notice a couple of sponsor things there. There are some things to come. So a little teaser preview and some more as well. We are trying to get as much drive into sim racing as we can. We love it. and we just want to share our hobby and our pastime with you guys, the viewers. So we all love to race ourselves, but mostly are here because we would like to shoutcast it, not because we don't have the pace to be here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely correct. So those that can't do shoutcast, it's a truthful saying, and I hate to say it, guys, but this is where we find ourselves, and I wouldn't ask to be in a different place, really.
No, I wouldn't be doing anything else tonight.
I don't know if it was sarcasm. No,
rather-
Eddie,
I would
it's
rather.
not a time for sarcasm, Eddie. You're just meant to be holistic and nice in your approach. So 11 minutes 28 remain of our third round here at Silverstone. The weather has not eased up on the drivers at all. It continues to bucket down and turn the racetrack into an Olympic swimming pool.
There's
Or
a
for our South
request-
African viewers, the Midmar Mile.
Yeah.
There's a request on the chat from Defender for a poem, so I've done the luxury of writing him one.
Have you?
There
I'm
once
not
was a
sure-
man called Defender who went on a bit of a bender. He tried to do some sin, but he put it in the bin, then blamed it on the weather. Thank you.
Snaps for Eddie. Snaps.
What is snaps for Eddie? I don't even know what my channel has turned into. Doing poetry reading and snaps for people. Can you guys please focus on our drivers? Right now, our gaps on track are looking pretty spaced out. Everybody managing to get themselves now, after the pit stops, into their rhythmic flow. I mean, really, not a place you really want to be scrapping it out with anyone, if we're going to be honest. And I think those early battles are kind of the battle scars on a lot of the sides of these cars. There's times where under pressure guys have made mistakes. Of course, mistakes are made by yourself, and the weather can play a factor in it. But when there's a driver on your back end and you're very, very cautious of where you can brake, you don't want to brake too early and send them into the back of you. You don't want to brake too late and send yourself into the grass. So in the rain, that whole chase and follow game made so much harder. And for now, everybody just going to run on around the track and do their thing. We'll be able to jump through a couple of the cars as they
Some
Make fair
timings
progress.
for our top guys. Cadil with as close to possible as a 40-second lead at this point.
Yeah, it's mental.
Jason then sitting with a good 20-odd second. Oh, sorry, I stand corrected as my timings come right. 20-second lead for Cadil, and Absmeyer in second place with about a 20-second lead over Richie. Yeah, top three.
Is it? I don't even. I think
unexpected
it's
and
actually a
spread out.
a smaller gap. I think the timing sheet updates over that start-finish straight, isn't it?
There it is, 18
19
seconds.
19
and,
seconds.
Just trust me, G. Like
Mine
I
says 10 seconds.
look at these things.
I've got 10 seconds
Are you looking in game or on the broadcasting app?
on the broadcasting app.
Yeah, that's the gap to the next person on track. So he's got a 10-second gap to Joubert, who he has already lapped.
Oh, who's in front of him? I
Yeah.
understand. Okay, I got you. Are you using the in-game one?
I have to kind of work between all of them to get the correct standings.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
doing
it's
maths on the fly. So
math
not
on
only
the
do
fly,
we bring
not
you guys
just a poet, but also a
poetry.
genius.
I mean, your math level would not classify you a genius if we're going to be honest with each other, which we should always
Yeah, it's
fair
not
to do
my math
as
level that classifies me a genius. As Ryan goes around, he lost it. Where is he coming into the coming through Woodcock? I
Who?
believe.
Who are we
Absmeyer.
talking about?
Absmeyer had a big come off there on
Dude,
Woodcock. Yeah.
Jump back 30 seconds, you'll see it.
Okay, let's go 30 seconds. On board with Absmeyer. The Porsche. Oh, the front diffuser looking very, very low in these wet conditions. Almost scraping on the tarmac. Oh, oh. A beautiful pirouette 180. Baton also in shots of that making love tap to the wall. His Bentley looks like it
Baton
will
hit
survive
that
another day.
hard on my screen, yo.
Yeah, I mean, when I said love tap, it was more pomp. So, Richie, he's going to be our man of consistency, really. We're going to... Oh, Joe Burr's
that
slow on
Joubert?
track. He is slow on track.
He's going slow.
I think he's either letting the car on by was getting blue flagged, or he had made a mistake on.
Does kind of look like he was just maybe coming back onto track because he was.
Yeah, I think
very
Maggots
slowly.
Beckett's he was just crawling back on after
Yeah.
making a bit of a whoopsie daisy. So 6 minutes, 50
that
seconds
jump back,
remain.
he definitely went spinning around.
I mean, it's got to that point now where it's rained so hard. It's not a thunderstorm yet, but it's rained so hard that the track may as well be, the first couple minutes of a thunderstorm. So it's wet as out there, and I think everybody just needing to keep things together for the last little bit here.
But less than 2 minutes left now. No, wait, my screen is screwing me around. I'm sorry, 6 minutes left. Every time I change view, it changes things.
I asked at the beginning of the race, does Porsche have much experience with this powerboat racing thing? And after this, I'd say some solid experience earned with the second and third.
Oh, manufacturer-wise,
as a company has
Menar's
made bicycles
made a
and
mistake there as well. I
toasters.
just wanna jump off here and see what's happened with Menar. Oh, he's at a big off, leaping over curbs as well.
Still driving slowly, but I think he's just staying out of the way of.
Yeah,
being left.
his car was just going in all kinds of places, was sent over the sausage, yeeted across the race track back onto the runoff, and then on rejoin was then faced with more blue flags. So getting forced further back, and for him it's just about finishing it up now, and it's not about really making up positions. I think it's this McLaren is not feeling happy. You see him driving all the way around the beach route, and Menard just not
He's
making
picked
it
up,
work out.
I think he's picked up some form of damage.
Yeah, he hasn't touched the wall on the crashes that we've seen, but the amount of gravel and dirt that's been picked up, it's just not getting worked off, and I think that
McLaren feels too light for me when I drive it, if that makes any sense. Feels
well, we are
twitchy,
manly
but
Porsche drivers. Every car feels light and easy to control. That's what you were going to say, right?
I'm like the Lamborghini feels twitchy because it's got power. It feels like an aggressive setup car.
It's also a
Where
Lamborghini.
the McLaren feels too light. Like it never feels planted to the ground for me.
Pomolo jumping out of the way of
Malotto.
Marapane there. Let me go to Malotto quick while you talk
He
about
just had
him.
a bit of
Ooh,
off.
getting very close though.
He had a bit of an off, just a little bit behind there.
Oh, Marapane and Malotto, this is for position though. I mean, these guys are fighting things
Malotto
out. Oh,
made a
Malotto
big
slides! He's lost it, and now he will do the double 360 180 slide of shame, rejoining back on. His teammate gets the better of him. Marapane goes on by in a very damaged Mercedes there. A couple of graphics settings going wrong on my PC here in the rain. It just does not like the anti-aliasing settings that I run
Is
with.
yours-
So it
Is
just
yours
makes
also having fun? Yeah, me
it
too.
just makes weird artifacting on some of the cars at
As I
some
laugh at
camera
RTX,
angles.
mine looks fine.
If you guys would like to sponsor the channel, my donate links are of course plastered all over the place. Donations would be appreciated for things like RTX graphics cards and things of no real need or
requirement.
yes. But thank you, Eddie, for reminding me that we need to somehow raise money, which is not selling myself on the internet. Other than for when we do shoutcasting, of course.
There are worse ways of selling yourself on the internet.
Of course, I mean, shoutcasting
big
is
off
pretty
for
wholesome.
Very big off.
Britain, where are you on my
Okay,
list?
let's jump him back here. Let's see what's happened. Oh, he has lost
Oh, he
it.
just loses
in
it coming out of the corner.
We don't get to see it on replay cam here, unfortunately. I jumped only 10
he
seconds
overcooks it a
back.
little bit, and that lift off.
I feel
oversteer
like
just
what
catches
we
it.
could work on for going forward is we would catch replays faster if Richard didn't try and like replicate the sounds of 7 different species of African owl
The howler
between
monkey.
each. But it's like 30 seconds of ooh ahs, and then it's that guy, and we could jump 10 seconds back. We catch the tailwind, and Richard's like, well, it was great for me.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. So ooh ah Richard, king of owls, will help us get the camera action sorted when he stops getting so excited about crashes and just tells us the name. So 1 minute 50 remain. I think it's time to start heading over to Bruno. He deserves way more screen time than he's managed to get. Yeah, no, he deserves more than we've given him. I feel like I've given him a bit of a scam deal. I mean, we're not at the final lap yet, but we'll trail along with him for a minute and a bit.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the first 3 guys have lapped everyone else though.
No, not quite. It seems they might have lapped up to Etienne Kleb.
Alright.
We'll see now if when Cadil starts this lap, I can tell you for sure that he has lapped. No, he's not starting a new one yet.
No, you got tricked out by the thing that we mentioned at the start of the stream.
Yeah. The
Eddie
similarities.
Eddie would be
within this
racing
track.
now. He would have gone in for the first right-hander and just been absolutely disappointed at where he found himself on the circuit.
Yeah, very, very disappointed.
So
Yeah, but with
back
this-
around this left-handed hairpin to begin the grueling end almost to the final lap. There will be one more. I don't actually. He might not finish it in time here.
Yeah.
I think this might be our final lap.
It's definitely going to be 32 seconds and he's rounding Brooklands now, definitely.
So he has managed to lap, I can confidently say, probably everyone up to 8th place.
Bruno with an absolutely beautiful drive coming out here in the wet.
But no,
For Silver-
I think he's still going to get another.
Is he going to get another one in? Oh, he's got 10 to go.
9, 8.
He's not
7,
slowing it down. He wants to
6.
finish the last lap. Final
We
lap
have
coming in
one more
for
lap.
Bruno. He
2 seconds to go.
he wanted to give me time to at least do a little drive-by of his beautiful paint job in his AMG. Number 88, Silverback Racing, Bruno Cadhill. Another victory gonna come out here for Dominus Gaming. And an absolute gem of a racer to have entered into the league. Has showed real great racecraft since joining us, and I'm just really glad that he continues to drive.
As much as Bruno has had the most commendable race we could have asked for, I think it should not take away from what Absmeier and Richie have managed to achieve in this absolute wet conditions. I mean, if Bruno was a league above everyone else, at least Absmeier and Richie were the best of the lower league today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't quite like that analogy. I think it was it's not quite fair, but yes, I think if we are going to commend anyone, we definitely need to give props to our 2 Porsche drivers.
We may see a switch over second to third. Richie pushing hard currently. Malotto spinning. He might come across the circuit in front of them. No, he does well to stay out of the way. But Richie pushing hard and Absmeier has closed the gap down considerably.
I don't see him getting another 2.5 seconds before the end of the race.
Hey, you guys have been going on
Malotto
about these
straight
heavy
off the
wet
track
conditions. We
into
could
the
see something
kitchen.
very interesting here.
No, you're right. I mean, that gap can easily disappear if something goes catastrophically. Cats on a plane wrong.
Cats on a...
Catastrophically.
I'm not good at
Very
words.
good,
I
yeah.
speak one language and it's most definitely not perfect. So we're coming up to the final combination of corners here for Bruno. Silverback Racing, number 88 for Mercedes. A beautiful drive coming out here at Silverstone in absolutely soaking wet conditions. Armbands were needed. Wet tires are a requirement. We said bring your wet setups. We didn't expect such wet setups to be needed. A flashing of lights from Bruno as he goes across the line, and a solid first place victory for Bruno. Beautiful clap
Nicely
coming out,
done.
so we can go and continue to follow down onto Jason Absmeier, who in the fog and the abyss there
He's
with the rain.
managed to keep Richie at bay.
Oh, he has. Richie is just
seconds
a
gap.
speck of light in the distance, but another light of course, for a Porsche, so we support that wholeheartedly. Absmeyer now coming around the penultimate corner, and a beautiful second place drive, like you mentioned, starting from way back in the pack, a horrific qualifying, and now managing to get back on track and get things. Slides it across, and not on purpose, but needs to get off the racing line. Does go across, and just on time, because Gray Ritchie crosses the line in third. It will be Franco Albertine. A very nice, a nice little bum wiggle there. Nice
Question from the comments: can we see the final results up on the screen?
The final results, of course, we can. So the final results there, as Franco Albertine goes across the line for 4th place.
No, I don't see any of these results changing.
Well, we've got Kleb, Besson and Buerta driving, so Kleb will go around the line. Hendricks finishes off in 7th, 8th for Malotto, 9th for Jobert, 10th for Britton, 11th for Richards. And then it will be Etienne Kleb now to take 4th place. He'll cross the line in 4th. Besson, he's still got to finish off his final laps. He's going to finish out of order here. He'll be in 5th place. It's obviously clear whoever dropped out ahead
tell
there.
The guys not to jump out of the race as they finish.
Yeah, we'll have to try and pull some server logs as well if we have to. So it'll be 5th place there, and 6th will then go to Buerta. So a great drive coming out from all the drivers. A difficult condition to adapt to. From next week, we will, or not next week, the week after, we'll be having driver interviews. I don't have to jump out of the races to do anything. Big slide as a celebratory finish from Buerta to end things off there. So let me head back over to our chill screen and just end things off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure. Eddie, Richard,
George,
thank you very much for assisting me, and as always,
pleasure as always.
A hive of information, all your facts, your poetry, your maths. I would never have been able to contribute those kind of things, so I appreciate doing these kind of things with you guys. If you guys want to head over to dominusgaming.com, that's the place that we have registrations for all of these things. If you want to follow us over on Twitter, you can go and follow me at ZA_GMax, and follow my homies at AngelusZA and at Spandex Cobra and at Dominus Gaming SA. So guys, thank you very much to all our viewers. We will see you next week when we'll see you when we see you, really. We could be back pretty soon. We're going to keep you on you're going to keep you on your toes, our toes. Bruno, a great drive, a great win. Top 3, really, a solid drive and a solid finish. Gray Ritchie, as well as Jason Absmeyer, solid results.